Hello and welcome to Kramer's Corner with this special edition of technical update, daily technical update. It's actually the second one today, but after the very strong job report out of US, I think it is prudent to just have a quicker look at the implications across the financial markets. I'm not going to cover everything, but the most key ones that has been affected by this. So here we see the US 500. The US 500. Let's have a look at the US 500 CFD slash the future. It has seems to resuming uptrend, and if RSI closes back above 60 threshold and also breaks above the falling trend line here, we are likely to see higher levels on the actual index that of course isn't open yet until another 30 minutes from now, where I'm recording. This is 3 p.m. Copenhagen time. On the US NAS 100, well, it's bouncing also here, and there was no divergence, so it was a little bit in the cards that it was merely just a correction that could have dropped lower, but it didn't, and for now it is pushing higher. And if we are closing higher today, well, then expect higher levels on US markets in the coming weeks. Also a quick look at the European markets. Here we have the Euro Stoxx 50 bouncing off just above the 50% correction and just above the 100 moving average. Positive sentiment on the RSI, and it is likely to resume uptrend, especially if it's actually forming this bullish engulfing candle here, and if we're closing above the falling trend line. We talked about this early morning. And let's let's just have a quick look at also DAX. That is also buyers have returned, and if this is also the case at the end of the day, then expect DAX to try to at least challenge the previous all-time highs. Very quickly on the other indices, the Amsterdam indices staying above the 908 support, CAC 40 bouncing also strongly here from the 7464 support, and it could bounce in the coming days if it can get back above 7,600. Well, not coming days because we have a weekend, but still, you know what I mean, into next week. The only one that is struggling a little bit is the Swiss market, as we can see here. It is bouncing a little bit, but it's still very much struggling. On the FX markets, we have seen a lot of moves, and we have also seen a lot of resistance and supports being broken. Here we have the euro dollar taking out 110. We talked about it for a very long time. If it takes out 110, well, then it could drop even lower, and very close to testing the 786 retracement of this uptrend there. So it's very close to this support 109.40, 109.50. It's likely to be tested. The key will be, where will it end today? Will it close below 40 threshold or not? If it does, well, then there could be further downside potential for euro dollar. And just to summarize, there's a little bit of support around here. Then it could drop to 108.81 on the short to medium term. But what is actually interesting is that the weekly chart is actually showing that it's going to cancel this uptrend here. It's not totally cancelled yet, but it is very much in jeopardy. We have euro sterling that we talked about this morning. It was likely to slide back, and it's continued sliding back after reaching the 786 retracement at 84.30, and I think this sliding back will continue going into next week. The cable or sterling dollar still holding on around the 786 retracement at 130.95. Could drop down to 130, but still here, you look at this, RSI is key here, also 40 threshold if it's closing above or below. Dollar yen also on the move. It was testing the 147.21 resistance yesterday and also this morning. Now it has broken above it, and it's likely to test the next key resistance at 149.40. if RSI closes above 60, which I believe it will, first of all, it will have cancelled this divergence now. It's been traded out basically. So we kind of reset, and if that's the case at the end of the day, well, then expect also this resistance to be broken, and I think we could see a push in the coming week or something like that, up to around 151.85, 152 in this area here, where we have the 200 moving and the 100 moving average. Will give it a little bit of a hard time pushing through that. And if we're looking at the weekly chart, we can see the weekly chart. It's actually quite interesting. We talked about it for some time ago. We had this bullish engulfing forming there, taking out this bearish one, pushing higher now to the 38.2 of the entire downtrend here at 148.12. Could push higher, and that would be interesting and something to watch here the next couple of days. What will happen here at 149.40, and what will happen also here at 151.85. The Euro yen is not moving that much, but still it is currently now testing the around 161, 90, 162 resistant level, and excuse me, and I think it will break higher. Key will also here be 60 threshold or not. Will it close above or below? I do believe it will close above, because we have divergence here also, and if it does, well, then there's some resistance at 164, but it could actually spike all the way up to 165.5 level. If it slides back and takes out the lows from today, well, then all bets are off on the bullish picture, and we are resuming the bearish picture. Aussie yen. Well, Aussie yen was already in a bullish breakout. We were above the 60 threshold on the RSI, meaning we were in a positive sentiment. I think it will test the 101.77, 102 level here fairly shortly, and could also break higher than that. We have sterling yen. Sterling yen also pushing through here again, and what will happen when it meets the 100 moving average, which I think it will do. So if it can break above the previous peak there, and let's just add a horizontal line, 195.90, so let's say 196. If it breaks above that, then we're looking at the 199.5, 200 level. And what it actually seems like, we do actually have a kind of a double bottom. Yeah, I know it spiked lower there, it shouldn't have done that, but still, if we're looking at closing prices, well, then there's potential up to 161.8 projection of that at 199.5, and I think we will get around that level. Aussie dollar currently testing the 68 support. It has broken below the 38.2 retracement at 68.20, where it was trading earlier this morning. I think we could actually see a correction down to the 61.8 retracement at 67.45, and then a bounce back. But for now, it looks fairly heavy. But let's see what it happens. Will it close above or below 68 today? I think we will see it lower levels. Dollar Canada, we're quickly also pushing towards the 786 retracement we talked about this morning, 135, 136. It could test that, but then we have some strong overhead resistance coming down here, 55 moving average, and also the 100. So there will be some strong overhead resistance, but it could spike above this level. So let's see. And there is divergence down here. I should have drawn a trend line, a rising trend line. So we could actually see it trying to push higher. The EURUSD, not really much to talk about. It's a little bit higher today, but it still needs to get above 95. $10 Swiss, on the other hand, really finally is breaking out of its range trading behavior here, and it could give energy up to the 786 retracement at 86.70, maybe even up to around 87 level, where we have some 87.5. We have some strong resistance. Key will also be what will happen with RSI close above 60 threshold or being rejected. Then it could just be this, that it reached the 61.8 retracement at 86 and a change, and then a setback. So let's see. For now, it could be struggling a little bit. And then finally, the dollar index. dollar index that broke above the 101.86 key resistance and is on course to move to 138.2 projection at 102.61. But I think in the coming times, in coming week or so, we could get up to the 103, maybe 103.30, 40 level. Let's have a quick look at gold. The other metals are not really moving, but I think it's more interesting to also look at gold, what's going on there. We had a sell-off or where it spiked down to test the 38.2 retracement at 26.32 again. It didn't take out 26.24, but if it does, well, then we're looking at 2600 and also possibly a test of the low rising trend line. So let's see here again, if it takes out the peak here from the other day at 26.74, then I think we'll see gold pushing to and above 2700. As you can see here on silver, it doesn't really move much doing this, so not much to say other than, well, it is stuck in this range between 30, it's about 70-ish, and to the upside. But I think we will see it pushing higher in the coming days, and the same with gold that we just talked about, but there's still a larger correction risk. And now let's have a look at what is really also on the move. It is the US 10-year Treasury yields. US 10-year Treasury yield currently is also breaking above the 392 resistance, and it's formed this wedge-like pattern. And just the last leg down in that pattern, well, it has taken out the peak of that. And what we can also do, we can say, okay, this is the entire move, and it should reach at least 61.8 of that entire falling wedge-like pattern there, and then we're talking about 4% really. And now you can see, and then we'll just remove this one because they are not really that interesting. Those are interesting. So we could possibly go up to around 4% here. There will be some strong resistance also in this region, as you can see, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're testing 4% or maybe spiking above either later today or going into next week. It really has broken bullish out, and if the RSI does close above 60, which is actually above now, then it will support even higher levels on the US 10-year. And let's have a look at the US 2-year that also have broken this little bit sideways range here, and currently very close to the 61.8 retracement, where we also have the 55 moving average coming down. What it will be key here for the 2-year is that will it close above 60 threshold on the RSI or not? If it does, then well, there's further upside potential to 392, maybe even higher. If it slides back, everything slides back to where it was this morning, well, then this it has been demolished, all these breaks out, but I don't think it will. All right, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this one, and subscribe to my channel. It's free of charge, and for more updates, talk to you again Monday. Have a nice weekend.